Okay, I want to give a full apology. The audio is trash for this one. It has to do with how I was outside and, the highways right next to the house and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, this is my once in a year terrible audio podcast. So, if you can deal with that, then go ahead and watch. If you can't, then go ahead and watch, because you're already listening to it, so you might as well listen to the whole thing. Just turn down the audio. Gosh, just give me the view. Come on. Podcast starts now.
Know why I'm mad. I gotta know why I'm mad, because
I need to be told why I'm going to be mad.
It's like, I want to know that thought process. Like, for example, everyone knows, probably the podcast knows, I don't like Elon Musk. I think he's a freaking bait. He's the biggest bait in modern history. But
so now you're telling me you don't like Tesla cars?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you were saying the word?
No, we'll go on that. We'll make a podcast about that, actually, because I have a lot to say about Elon Musk.
But honestly, those are my favorite cars ever created.
Okay, we'll have a lot to talk about that. But still, freaking Elon Musk, I don't like him. But I don't like him. So when I see an article about Elon Musk, like, oh, Elon Musk is making another prediction that doesn't come true, I don't click it. I don't go in like an Elon Musk subreddit. If I hear, if I am in a podcast or listen to a podcast on loop or whatever, a Q podcast, and they start talking about Elon Musk, it's like, oh, this podcast is going to be about the history of Elon Musk. I skip. I don't even allow myself to get angry or whatever about, these people infatuated by this bait. I just skip. I don't write a comment. I just skip. And continue on my day. But these other people, they hear it and they have to click it. They have to click it. They can't help themselves. They need to feel the anger. There's probably someone right now who is pissed, and they listened to a 1 hour podcast of them being pissed. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But that was my last rant, because now we need to talk about Elon Musk.
All right.
Wait, so when do you have to pick them up, by the way?
8 or 9, so I have time.
Okay. So let me talk about Elon Musk and why I dislike him. So it all started back in... Shut up. I hate you! But it all started back, I think, because, I was pretty early with knowing about Elon Musk, before, the whole mainstream, whatever. Shut up. But... So I would say it was my freshman year, I think, when I first heard about him. So maybe
college or high school?
High school. So maybe 2012, 2011, or 2011.
2011.
So, you hear about him because people start talking about Mars, which is another bait, which maybe why I stopped liking space. Because I used to be really big in space. I wanted to be an astronomer and everything.
Jabari, I've been in 5th grade. You've never been into space. I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, what? I mean, maybe I didn't talk about it back then or something. But I used to be super, super into space. And, you hear about stuff like, oh, man, we're going to go to Mars. Oh, sign up. You remember that back in 2011 where people were signing up to be a person to go to Mars? And it didn't happen. You still don't hear anything about it anymore, which is crazy to me. It's like everything's a bait, but still, you hear about Elon Musk. Because I think he might have been starting his SpaceX or whatever. Or maybe he was the one who did those Mars baits. People sign up to become a astronaut to go to Mars. So you hear about it. And I'm kind of interested because I'm into space. So I'm like, oh, wow, we're going to go to Mars soon. I hope I hope when I turn 18 or whatever, I will, sign up and become one of the people who go to Mars. But the thing is, you keep hearing about Elon Musk. And you hear about his prediction, because it initially, for me, it was just SpaceX, because I didn't know anything about Tesla. It was just SpaceX why I didn't like Elon Musk. So the first part...
And that's because, you couldn't go to Mars?
No, it wasn't because I couldn't go to Mars. It was because it was a bait. They said that you were going to Mars by blank. They might say, by 2013, we're going to be on Mars. 2013 passes. No one's talking about it, because people forget quickly, but I don't forget, because I was super into space. I'm like, what happened to going to Mars by 2013? And then you look on the news and you see, oh, Elon Musk says we're going to be on Mars by 2015, no matter what. 2015 comes, everyone forgets, but I'm still here. I'm like, huh? Did I go into a new dimension? What? What happened to going to Mars by 2015? And then the same thing, Elon Musk. Oh, we're going to be on Mars 2017. We have the funding. We have the rocket now. 2017 is the year. I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, why aren't we on Mars? It's 2017 now. Why are we on Mars? 2019. Guys, come on. Just trust me. 2019, everyone typed, oh, Elon Musk is a god. We're going to Mars. 2019 comes, nothing. You don't hear anything. Like, okay, where's Mars? Then 2020, then I think it was 2019. Elon Musk is like, no. Actually, we're going to be on moon. We're going to be on the moon by 2020. 2020, guys. We're going to be on the moon. Because NASA finally started, getting into going to the moon again. So he was like, I got to catch on that hype. Oh, we're going to go on the moon, actually. We're going to the moon. Moon's more believable, more likable. We're going to be on the moon by 2020. 2020 happens, coronavirus, whatever. But still, nothing happens. And he's like, 2024, guys. It's like, this thing happens every time. He keeps pushing the date, and no one's realizing that he keeps pushing the date. Or maybe some people realize, other people who don't like Elon Musk for the same reasons I don't. But it's like, he keeps pushing. He keeps, baiting people. He uses that hype to push himself up, but people don't realize that it's just a moving target, and no one's saying anything about it. But here's another thing that I didn't like about Elon Musk, and I think that's what finally initially started me getting skeptical about everything. What the heck was that?
It's my old laptop. You can keep talking.
Oh. But what initially started it was that I heard, and I think it still happens, which made me hate him more. But I heard that he was terrible to his employees. Basically, he is the type of employee. It's the same with video games, where it's kind of a passion job, where he basically gets these fresh graduates or whatever who really want to make something change. They really want to put their foot on the ground and do something big with their degree. If they were astro engineering or whatever stuff. Mm-hmm. He picks them up. He's like, we're the type of people who are going to do that. We're going to go to Mars. We're going to go to the moon, whatever. And he picks up these engineers, low pay than they would have had if they went to anywhere else, lower pay, longer hours, worse type of benefits. But it's kind of that passion that fuels them, I guess. And they're like, oh man, I'm going to be making big things. But then he screws them over with stuff. And I'm like, he seems like a douchebag. He just seems like a douchebag. So even back then, I'm like, he seems like a douchebag boss. So a typical businessman who just doesn't care about anything other. Jesus Christ.
What is that? Heck?
Hold on. Is that a fire alarm?
No, it's my laptop. Okay, I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. What? But yeah, so he just seemed like a typical douchebag to me. And then when you learn more and more about him, it just seems like he is a douchebag. It wasn't just my precognition. He just was. You remember the whole was it Thailand where those kids were stuck in the cave?
Mm-hmm.
And all these Navy SEALs or whatever, all these type of people are risking their lives diving into the cave to save these kids. And you hear Elon Musk, he's like, oh, let me take advantage of this situation to push my company up. So he's like, we're going to make a submarine, guys. We're making a submarine. I'm getting my best engineers to make the submarine. And it's just a metal tube. It's a metal freaking tube. And of course, one of the people who saved the kids is one of the Navy SEALs who are risking their lives to go into these caves to save the kids, mm-hmm. the flooded caves. He's like, he said basically what everyone was thinking. He's like, you are taking advantage of this sad situation to make yourself look better. That submarine was made in 2 days, and it's too big to even work. So that was a waste of time for you to even say anything. Basically saying that you were just trying to market your business. Mm-hmm. And you were taking advantage of this sad situation to market your business. And what did Elon Musk say to this dude? This dude who risked his life saving the kids? He's literally one of the people who saved the kids. He said, shut up. You're just a pedophile. That's why you live in Thailand, because you're a pedophile. That's what he said. He literally said that. He basically literally said that on Twitter. And yeah, you can look this up. He was like, oh, you're a pedophile because you live in Thailand. Shut up. You're just a pedophile. And I'm like, when I'm reading this, I'm like, no way he just said that. There's no way he just said that to this guy who literally saved the kids because he said that what you did is what you did. So all those things included him pushing the date, him being all around douchebag, and him, hyping stuff up, using marketing himself, using anything. Like rather that's just lies, rather that's just super speculation on whatever he's going to do, rather that's just a moving target date. He just seems like a sham to me. So that's what kind of made me not like him. But that was just me not liking him. There wasn't really anything more than that. But there's this second little thing. And I think you know of this little website, the Reddit. So Reddit adores this dude. Like, loves him. They spam anything he does. Anything. You could be on any subreddit. I could be on a subreddit. I said this before on a Discord, but I'll say it again because these people have it. But
yeah, you never add me to your Discord, but it's okay.
Okay, I might add you. I didn't know you wanted to do it.
Well, duh.
But I could be on a subreddit for black hair products. I'm like, oh yeah, I just want to spike my hair up, And some person would be like, oh, well, you got to get this product because it'll spike your hair up so high, like how the Falcon 9 rocket is going to go high up into the moon. Elon Musk, by the way. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, why are you pushing Elon Musk on everything? Like, if I am on a non-space / that's why I think I said this before, but that's why I unsubscribed from our space and like our technology or something, because all they talk about is Elon Musk stuff. So I'm like, unless I'm on those subreddits, like, why are you talking about Elon Musk on these other things? It's like these people are like, almost like, religiously fond, dude, to the point where anything he says is just golden. Anything.
I still don't understand why you don't like the Cybertruck, though.
Now, I will get on electric vehicles now. Why I don't. So the way, basically why his followers are, is why I started to completely not like him. Because now they talk about anything he does. And I don't want to hear about it. I don't care. But, so that's why I don't like it completely. Now, I'll get on Tesla, because that was just on SpaceX and Elon Musk. Now, Tesla, I just don't like because they just don't. I don't like the design of them.
They're the most beautiful cars ever created.
I don't know about that.
I know about that. In my opinion. Allow me to say that. In my opinion,
they just look like a regular car. Like, I guess. I mean, it looks like a regular car. So I mean that have that. I don't like how there's no grill. I think that's kind of weird looking. Like, I get there's no point of a grill, but it just looks weird to me without a grill. But I don't like. But I don't like Tesla. The reason why I don't like Tesla is strictly, it's not because of the car, it's not because of its electric, it's strictly because of the autopilot system. And I don't like it because whatever these people, I guess it's Elon Musk too, whoever are the people who help, call the shots, which I guess is Elon Musk, they made it as a marketing stunt to make autopilot seem like it works. They say, you can sign up for a beta for autopilot. Now, when you think of beta, you think it's basically done other than a few bugs. Like in a video game, if you join a beta, you're just looking for those last little bits of bugs that are like the developers haven't caught yet. But that autopilot isn't that. The autopilot is not even finished yet. It's not even close to being finished yet. But he makes it he makes it like, oh, it's a beta program as a marketing stunt. So then more people are excited about, oh, it's a Tesla, oh, it can drive itself. But the problem is people aren't smart. You can say there's not an autopilot per se. It can drive on roads without you touching the wheel, but that's in perfect conditions. On a highway driving and street driving, you make sure your hands are on the wheels at all times, and blah 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 blah. Make sure your eyes are on the road. But people aren't thinking that. Even if you write it on the screen, people aren't thinking that. They see autopilot, beta. They see on the articles, Tesla can drive itself. So what do? They put their hands off the wheel. They look away. They might look on their phone or whatever. And then the moment the autopilot, because it's not a beta, it's more like it's in beta mode or whatever, where it's literally just being built. It's like in I don't know what you call that. What's before alpha? Pre-alpha? Pre-alpha mode? It's
Prime.
It's in that mode. And that, like, so that means the moment it sees something it doesn't recognize because the engineers haven't thought of it yet. So let's just say the sun hits the shiny reflective mirror of a truck, and the truck makes a shadow. So then it's like, oh, this is a stoplight. I need to go because that's a green light. And then it crashes into the truck and kills the dude. It's like Tesla killed that dude. Yes, he was stupid, but it's their responsibility to make sure that stupid people don't do stupid things.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is, because they made it seem like it's an autopilot. They made it seem like you can trust this thing. It's their responsibility to make sure that because they knew that this thing doesn't work. But they But the thing is, the Tesla engineers, the Tesla head up, they knew that this thing does not work. It doesn't work fully. That
So
any situation can make it crash and burn.
My question to you is, so keep that in mind. You know how the other podcast we were talking about how parents affect or impact on children not being as successful or being having such great work ethic or whatever the case was.
Okay.
You said it's not on the parents. It's not their responsibility. It's more so the individual. So now.
No. But that's not life and death. There's a difference. Like, okay,
I mean,
here's
yeah,
an example.
but it's
Here's
the
an
same
example.
principle.
If I made an iPhone, let's just say I made something that looks perfectly like an iPhone.
Or that's like saying, gun
No, wait.
Oh, well.
Gosh. I changed the headphones because I did the little tech. One in the case, one in the other thing. Yep. But still, let me continue with the thing. So let's say I made an iPhone. But it's not an iPhone. It's a cheaper version of an iPhone. So everyone's like, wow, this dude made an iPhone for $3. It's pretty cool. We're going to buy it. But then I'm like, okay, wait, you guys know. When you call people, make sure it's speakerphone. It's not ready to be used on the ear. If you put it on your ear, there will be too much micro radiation and it will burn your brain out. And people are like, oh, whatever. So now they're using the phone and they get a phone call. They're like, oh, wait, my phone's been working perfectly so far. Let me use my phone. And then they put it in their ear and then the brain melts out. It's like, why would I tell them that you can call people if there is a chance that if things go as they weren't supposed to, like if things go wrong, it will be catastrophic.
I still feel like it's more.
People are so infatuated by the fact that autopilot can be kind of working that I guess they don't care.
But then it's the person's fault, not Tesla.
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Tesla's completely innocent. They definitely have a fault for putting out a faulty product. However, if they give that disclaimer and tell them that it works perfectly in the most perfect of perfect conditions, and the user tries to use it in something else, that's their own arrogance.
No, but it's not the most perfect of perfect conditions where it works.
That's what you said, is it not?
No, it doesn't work in the most perfect of perfect conditions. It worked okay. Yes, technically, I guess the most perfect, like a clear road with no cars or whatever. But the problem, I think why people start trusting it more and more is that if you kind of tested it out, you're like, oh, I'm kind of nervous, and you use it in a street, and it drives you home perfectly. You have your hands on the wheel and everything perfectly, and it drives you home. The next day, you try it on the highway. It drives you home perfectly. You're like, wow, this works. You start trusting it more and more. You're like, wow, this is a working product. You trust it more and more. And then the moment one thing happens, just slightly off, because this is not a finished product, but they advertised it as so. But still, the moment something happens that is off, it'll be catastrophic. Let's just say there's a tree on the road. A normal person would just turn left, turn right, go around it. A simple little thing, maybe a hurricane happened or something. Or let's just say it's just, it just happened to fall. The Tesla truck or whatever, the Tesla car, if it had not seen that before, because of how these programs work, if it had not seen a situation like that before, it would just drive right through it, like as if it's an open street, and kill the person. And let's just say that person was super trusting of their car, and they weren't looking at the road as well as they should have been. Like, yes, that's the person's fault because it's a quote beta. So, they have to be looking at all times because, you don't know what could happen. But because this is a normal person, this is not some engineer or something who knows this. This is a normal person who bought a car and they see an autopilot function. The moment it starts working well, people give it some leeway and, they aren't paying attention as much or whatever. And then crap happens. And you hear something on the news, another Tesla car killed a man or killed two people in the car because it crashed into a tree or something. And I think that's just completely wrong. That's completely immoral.
So let me ask you this. Are you saying that Tesla advertised it as a completely functioning autopilot feature, or did they actually put a disclaimer out? Because if they put a disclaimer out, Tesla still has fault for putting out a faulty product.
I think that's the tricky thing because of how business works, where they technically say, like they do it in a way where they basically say that it works. This is the best autopilot in the world. It's better than Google, better than Apple or whatever. But at the same time, because in business, at the same time, so they don't get sued, they do have maybe a disclaimer or something. But they still advertise, it's still advertised as if it works perfectly because it's a marketing thing. Like, you wouldn't market it as, this autopilot, it works sometimes. It doesn't work all the time. Maybe some trucks or whatever might make it work and crash into a tree or something. Don't trust it, really. We're still testing it. No, they're not going to make an advertisement like that. No, they're going to be like, this thing works. This thing works, but it's in beta. Put your hands on the wheels at all times.
I still feel as if they put that disclaimer out there, you can't completely blame Tesla. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm just putting my piece into it. I personally don't think that Tesla can be blamed completely because, if they say it's not I don't want to say if they don't say it, if they say it's beta or whatever, you know what I mean? And the consumer.
I would say it's like me putting a chainsaw in front of a baby or in front of a toddler. Like someone in front of a 10-year-old. It's like me putting a chainsaw in front of a 10-year-old where he's old enough to know if you swing a chainsaw like an idiot, you will get chopped up. But he's an idiotic 10-year-old. You know the kid's going to play around at some point, even though you told him don't play around when you're using this little mini chainsaw. Only do it to chop up these sticks. But you know he's going to play around and to cut his arm off. You know he's going to. You know there's going to be some 10-year-old in that group who's going to do it. So why would you even put the chainsaw in front of him? Is the kids being having super fun with chainsaw work? The one kid who's going to cut his head off because he's an idiot. No.
Jabari, you gave a terrible scenario. The reason I say you gave a terrible scenario is because with the car, you can die in a car, you can get severely injured in a car, but the car's main purpose is to get somebody from point A to point B, and it has extra amenities. A chainsaw's purpose is to destroy and cut.
No. But the point of autopilot is it's not a finished product. Now
that's an extra amenity.
That's an extra little toy to the car.
Yeah, that's an extra amenity to a car.
No, it's an extra toy. It's an extra.
Jabari, that's what an amenity is. An amenity is an extra bell and whistle.
No, but it's not an extra dollar investment. It's a toy. It's a toy because it doesn't work. It's just something to show off because it doesn't work fully yet. And it's the same as a chainsaw. If you were doing a wood cutting class,
Jabari, that's actually a lot of so here's the thing. Here's the thing.
It's you can use a chainsaw too if you want to. It's kind of cool.
As a former car salesman, I even had to give disclaimers with a lot of features. Let's say, for example, we're talking about
cruise control,
autopilot,
lane guidance.
Yeah, cruise control, or for Nissan cars, it was Pro Pilot Assist or whatever. Pro Pilot Assist works unless it's the sensors on the front of the car are what's it called? Raining or whatever. The sensors are blocked by rain, sleet, snow, hail, pretty much any conditions like that. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I keep drawing mind blanks today. So anyways, you tell customers that, and you even I tell them whatever when I demonstrate the car and when I'm showing them the car itself. However, if they choose, being that I told them that, because that's an extra amenity, that Pro Pilot Assist is an extra amenity, just like the autopilot. Now, while autopilot was a beta, the Pro Pilot Assist was not a beta. There were still flaws to both. If one thing's out of whack with the autopilot, then that's not going to work correctly.
I would argue with the lane guidance assist or whatever.
I'm not talking about lane guidance assist. I'm talking about Pro Pilot Assist, and that's pretty much, it's like an intuitive cruise control.
Okay, then an intuitive cruise control, like where it can like turn with the curves and stuff like that?
No.
Then what do you mean by that?
So an intuitive cruise control, so let's say you put your car in cruise control, right? Still have your hands on the wheel and whatever, and it has sensors in the front, so it can gauge the distance between the car in front of you and you, or any object in front of you and you, and it can automatically speed the car up if there's more distance between you, and then it can automatically slow down if the car in front of you is starting to brake, or if there's an object that comes in front of you or whatever. So it's like pretty much an autonomous cruise control.
But you just still
have to put your
the wheel.
Yeah, but you're mainly only using it.
Then I would argue with that you are still like almost 90% conscious of what you're doing. Like you're still like, you wouldn't use intuitive cruise control and look at your phone. That wouldn't work because you still have to turn and stuff.
That's what a lot of people do, though. People still,
but still, autopilot incentivizes that type of behavior even more.
No, like hold on. So I'm not comparing.
It's not in a beta. I mean, it's just.
I'm not comparing the two features as far as like, how do I explain it? I'm not comparing the two features saying that cruise control, like Pro Pilot Assist, the intuitive cruise control, is the same thing as autopilot. I'm just saying those are two extra amenities that if there's like one scenario or like one thing that's out of whack, it's going to screw the whole thing up. That's the same. The Pro Pilot Assist, even if one sensor is blocked, let's say the middle left or the middle right sensor is blocked, it's going to fuck up that intuitiveness. So if you solely rely on it, then you're going to crash for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? So like if you drive like in the like rain, like in inclement weather, that's the word I was looking for earlier. If you drive in inclement weather and still expect for that to work completely, 100%, although you were told that's not going to, then while Nissan or like whatever car manufacturer is at fault for not having the best of the best, let's say like heated sensors, so therefore if there's still snow or rain, like you can still like buzz off or whatever and like it works or whatever, Nissan is still at fault for that, but it's also user error because they were told that these are the conditions for it, just like with
cruise control. It's like I would feel like that one is not as hard to blame Nissan. Like you can't really blame Nissan for it because they still are like.
Jabari, I had many customers blaming Nissan for them getting into accidents because of sensors.
Well, any person who crashes is going to blame something that's not them. But I'm saying like Nissan can't put all the blame. You can't put all the blame on Nissan because they're supposed to be looking at the road. Like you still have to drive. It's just that your hands aren't on the pedals, your feet aren't on the pedals.
Yeah.
So, but this one, your feet are on the pedals. Your feet are on the wheel. You're just supposed to have your hands hovering over the wheel just in case, and eyes attentive to the road. But if it is working, let's just say it's working 99% of the time when you're driving on clear roads, not as much traffic. You know, like a normal person is going to expect it to work all the time. And they might look at their phone occasionally, or they might, mess with the radio or mess with the talk to someone on the phone or whatever, and not be attentive. And then the moment that 1% thing that happens goes wrong, it goes wrong bad. But the thing is, this might happen more and more frequently because it's not even finished. It's not even a finished product. Like if it were a full-blown autopilot, maybe I wouldn't be saying as much. But this is not even it's not in beta. It's in pre-alpha.
And so like I said,
that's why I say I put the blame on Tesla, because you are making it where these idiots who won't listen, they won't listen. It doesn't matter if you have a disclaimer. You know there are going to be people who won't listen because this is just a beta of a product that anyone can sign up for.
But here's the thing: you're taking the accountability. You're taking the accountability off of that person because that person knows fine, well, and good that it's not a finished product. Like, it's not like they're saying this is a finished product or whatever. They have to disclaim that. So that person knows that, and if they themselves allow themselves to
here's an example.
No, but let me use you as an example, because like if let's say, although you hate Tesla and you hate Elon Musk and everything he does, let's say you buy that Tesla, right? Or you're gifted it, or not even gifted it. Let's say you buy it and you drive it. You yourself, you are not going to rely solely on that autopilot simply because you know that it's like, so at that point, if something does happen, like you didn't rely on it. Like let's say you used it like one time or what have you. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, yo, Tesla freaking screwed me over. But it's all like, there can be a lot of people that says, yeah, they did screw you over. However, you knew that it wasn't a finished product, yet you still used it. You have to take that accountability. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying it's, even though the person has to take the accountability, it's still in the head. Like it's the example I wanted to give was like,
no, it's heavily in Tesla's hands. Like I'm not disagreeing with you, but right.
Let's say I make a shortcut to get to, let's say there's a temple on a mountain. You can take the steps, or you can take the cool bar shortcut. And I have all these signs, lights, the cool, super easy. You have a view of the cliffside and everything. And then, you know, while you're walking up, I have a little disclaimer. Like, it's a sign, it's there, like you see it. It says, careful though, it's a wobbly bridge. Now, you're gonna go, okay, it's a wobbly bridge, but look, you know, it's the cool bar shortcut. I'm gonna go on it anyway. And then you look, it's this rickety old bridge. There's only ropes as handles. It's the waving in the wind. You look down the cliffside, it's your death. Like, that's the cool view of the cliffs. It's spikes going up and down. If you fall, you're dead. Now, if someone falls, some people will be like, well, you knew. Like, you saw that cliff. Or you saw the sign that said it's a wobbly bridge. Like, you know, it's obvious that, you know, there's a chance that this is not going to work. But there's also that big freaking sign that said the cool bar shortcut. You see this cliffside. It's like, yeah, these people should have known that this wobbly bridge, they're probably going to die. But it's like, if I advertised it, that this is a cool shortcut. So of course, there are going to be some people who don't care about this wobbly bridge. They're going to be dumb. And then just take the shortcut anyway and fall to their death.
And that's their fault for taking it. You didn't
force them. What?
I mean, you still have a fault for building that boo-boo ass bridge. No, like that's why I said I'm not taking the fault out of Tesla's hands whatsoever. I'm just saying I'm also putting the accountability in the people's hands that use it and rely on it solely. It's there's fault on both ends.
But the thing that annoys me about it.
Now let's say you didn't. Let's say you said.
No. I know if I didn't say it, like they have. But I'm saying what annoys me is the whole fact that it's in pre-alpha.
Okay, so let's use your example with that bridge.
Take this wobbly freaking bridge or ice climbers. Or, let's say they're ice climbers. So they're taking the bridge, they know what they're doing. If the bridge starts weaving with the wind, you know, these ice climbers, you know, they got the balance, they got the little hook things. So they know what they're going to do. They're going to get up and, you know, make it through the bridge because they're professionals. They're usually the people who take these 30 shortcuts. But being my businessman self, I was able to market it and then push it out so that even normal people are taking this bridge that usually only ice climbers are supposed to be taking. So yeah, they see the disclaimer, they see this, but it's like, as a whole, they shouldn't be on this bridge anyway. And that's my equivalent for the Tesla thing. Usually with these betas or whatever, there are paid engineers who are like, you know, you doing the beta, or people who are paid assistants or whatever, people who work for Tesla so they can see the bugs and fix it. And they're actively like, you know, keeping an eye out constantly because they know that this might mess up and that's what they're paid for or whatever. They're the people who are usually doing the pre-alpha. Like, let's say the Google taxis or whatever, the Google autopilot, which is better than the Tesla because they've been working on it for 10 years. But you don't see that out in the public because they know it's not ready and they're having their own people test out this beta. So then if it messes up, you know, there's accountability. Like they know how to handle it. But Tesla, they're just having regular people do this. Just regular old people. They're not doing anything with the beta. They're not looking for bugs. It's not a beta. It's a pre-alpha that they're just letting out for people so they can market Tesla even more when it works. So people are like, oh, my Tesla, look at it. It's driving on its own. And then the person in the side seat will be like, oh, man, dang, maybe I should buy a Tesla. And I'm saying that is irresponsible.
It's irresponsible on both ends. I will agree. I'm not going to put all the blame on Tesla. I'm not going to put all the blame on the individual. There's fault on both ends. And if that person is willing to accept that risk, buying that car, then by all means, they need to accept that responsibility with that risk that they took. Because let's go back to our bridge example. If I see this bridge is wobbly, I'm going to look at it, see it flapping in the wind. I don't care how far off path I am. I'm turning my ass back around and walking up those stairs. Whereas, however, let's say I was like, you know what? I don't care. You know, those ice climbers, they can do it. And so Joe did it. I can do it too. I should be fine. And I just get on that bridge and I just start swaying everywhere. And then I fall off the bridge and I fall to my death. As I'm falling, I'm going to say, man, I shouldn't have taken this bridge. And that's literally what the people say. I should not have bought. I'm pretty sure that's what they say. I should not have bought this car because they did tell me that this shit is whatever. But I want to blame Tesla because I just wanted to do it. That's what I'm saying. There's fault on both ends. Like me personally, I would never put out a product in full production that's in pre-alpha stage. You know what I mean? I personally would never do that because I don't want the responsibility of shit falling, short. Now, if it was completely done and I said, we tested it, there's nothing wrong with it, blah, 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 blah. And then some idiot, he fucks it up so bad, screws it up so bad that it is, or not even he screws it up so bad, like pretty much if there's like a condition where we didn't even foresee it or take account or, account for, then it definitely is our fault at that point. It's not user error. Whereas if we say, look, man, just buy the damn car. It is what it is, it's not finished, but all you gotta do, just drive it how you normally drive it. Certain days, you'll be good as long as the squirrel doesn't come across or whatever, you're straight. If I do that and somebody's still trying to buy it, then it's not just my fault, it's their fault too.
True.
And I will take full, like if I did that, I would take full responsibility. I really would.
Well, I think that's why, those two reasons, like the whole SpaceX and the Tesla thing, are basically why I don't like Elon Musk. And
well,
I just think he's a douche. I just think he's a douchebag. I think he takes advantage of the weak and the vulnerable. By weak, I mean weak-minded and vulnerable. And I think people worship him for things that haven't happened. Like it hasn't, like all the like hype and shit about him, it hasn't happened yet. And it hasn't happened for the past like 15 years.
I knew this one girl who was obsessed with him. Like, and what I mean by like that, like she asked me who my celebrity crush was. And I truly don't have a celebrity crush. Like, at least I can't think of one. However, I asked her who hers was, and she was like, Elon Musk, and I said, why? And she was like, he's just so smart and blah, 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 this, and this. And I'm not saying that he's not smart, because I'm not going to take his intellect from him. But in my head, I'm like, you're not giving any real reason, like, as to why you love him. And I feel like it's kind of like hive mind also.
Yeah, it is that kind of hive mind. Like, there is another thing with Elon Musk, where I noticed something, which is a lot of rich people. Which is why I don't know why people worship a lot of these rich people. Like saying, oh, they're so smart, they're so this, they picked themselves off their bootstraps and made their business and da 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 da. Because it's like, a lot of these, like, for example, Elon Musk was rich from the start. And you'll notice this pattern with a lot of these billionaires, is that they were rich from the start. Rather they were like rich being multimillionaires, or rich being just millionaire, they are still rich. Bill Gates, rich family. Mark Zuckerberg, rich family. Like, these people had rich families where they were well off. So, say, Elon Musk. His dad owns a diamond mine in South Africa. Owns a diamond mine. He's not like head manager or something. He owns the mine.
Well.
And so he was born rich. And then, of course, rich people go to their rich private schools. So when they graduate from these rich private schools, they are able to go to these rich colleges. So I think he went to University of Pennsylvania or something like that. And they make it seem like, oh man, he didn't have the money for University of Pennsylvania, so he had to sell out his apartment to frat boys. No. See, most people will hear that. They're like, dang, he was a businessman from the start. Wow, Elon Musk. But me, since I'm skeptical about everything, I'm like, let me look this up. Because that doesn't sound real. Who sells out their apartment to frat boys? Why would frat boys buy our apartment? And then you look up had a 16-room apartment or something like that. He and his other friend rented out a 16-room apartment, and that's what they rented out to frat boys as a frat house. Normal people don't do that. Normal people don't buy a 16-room apartment. So yeah, he was rich from the start. He used that money to make more money. And then how he got rich initially was from PayPal. And everyone knows PayPal. That's a popular business. What did you say?
What's that?
You know what PayPal is. Don't act like you don't know what PayPal is.
No, I mean, dead serious. What is PayPal?
Oh, okay. PayPal is like.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. For those PayPal, how you pay for stuff online. Well, how you can't pay for stuff online and stuff like that. But he didn't make PayPal. That's what people see. Like they hear that he owned PayPal, and you think, oh, he was like Bill Gates or whatever, founded PayPal. Or whatever. No. How Elon Musk got most of his businesses, the same way he got Tesla, same way. I'm not sure about SpaceX, but I will bet you it is the same way he got SpaceX. Is that he used his money and paid for a percentage of the business.
Right.
Dang, that's the first time I ever seen a motorcycle play music. I didn't even know that could happen.
Really? You've never seen motorcycles play music?
No, because I didn't think that would work since it's open air and everything. But it's just a loudspeaker. Weird. But yeah, he pays for a percentage of the business. He basically becomes an investor of these businesses. So yeah, maybe he's a smart investor because he finds these little businesses and then funds them and then gets a majority stake, and then he becomes CEO of them. It's like if I came to your studio, I'm like, Deontay, you're making some good music. I will give you $100,000 for let's just say 60% of your studio. No, not 100, $1 million for 60% of your studio. You're gonna be like, dang, yeah, sure. And then I help you build up that business using that money, and then you become a leading business. But would you say that I started the Deontay Studios? No.
Nope.
No. You would say that I helped fund it and gave business guidance, baby. But that's what Elon Musk does with a lot of his things. He bought PayPal with that a percentage of PayPal with that money, did that same thing. He did it with Tesla too. Tesla wasn't started by Elon Musk, but he bought a percentage of Tesla and then became CEO afterwards. But again, it was all from money. It wasn't mostly from his smarts or whatever. These businesses were already made. Basically, what he had was the money. He had the funds. So that's why I find it ironic that people kind of worship him for being this smart, blah 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 person. But like, no, he's no different than any other rich person in a way. He got his undergraduate in mechanical art and physics. So I mean, I guess he is fairly smart because he got his undergraduate in physics. That's not an easy thing to do. Mm-hmm. But he's not a genius. He's not a genius. He's just a rich dude. He's a rich kid, born rich, stayed rich, got more rich. Like Mark Zuckerberg, I don't like him either. But at least he was technically a very smart dude. Like very smart. He was a child genius. He was born rich still too, but still, he was a child genius for programming or whatever. And he built up Facebook from himself, like from the ground up. He built up Facebook, even though some of the ideas were stolen, but still he built up Facebook. Microsoft, yeah, he was born rich too. He had rich parents. Like I forgot what. Like his dad was a lawyer. His mom was the daughter of some business tycoon or something. But still, he was the same way. He was like a child genius in a way, and then built Microsoft from the ground up. But Elon Musk wasn't like that. That's why that's why I find it ironic that everyone looks at Elon Musk as a genius. It's like, no, he was just rich. And then bought businesses. He made smart purchases of businesses and then became CEO. So I mean, him becoming CEO afterward, yeah, that's something, but businessman kind of idea kind of thing. And building up the business further, because the business was already there. That's why I don't think he was a smart person. Well, I think he's smart, but I don't think he is like a genius.
Like everybody makes him?
Yeah.
Interesting.
What?
Sounds like you're hating on him.
No, sounds like I just actually researched him.
Sounds like you hate him. I think that's fair to say.
No. But I think that's my rant. I don't know if you want that.
No, I just still think Teslas are the best cars I've ever seen. Ever.
They're are nicer cars.
I beg to differ. Like what? Name one.
I mean,
And I don't mean supercars. I'm not talking about supercars.
I mean, I'm not really a car person, so.
So.
But I know what cars I don't like the design of, and that Tesla I don't like the design of.
The Cybertruck is probably the best truck I've ever seen.
Oh, okay. Now you like it.
No, that's not trolling. I enjoy it.
Very true. But it's okay. Some people have brain hemorrhages all the time. And, I heard you were born in Kentucky. So I can't blame you for not seeing a good car before.
And what does being born in Kentucky have anything to do with it? Muhammad Ali was born in Kentucky.
Look where he is now.
Wow. I truly don't know what to say.
Well, I guess that's the end of the podcast. Looking forward to paying.
You know, it just makes me happy that both you and I will be canceled together.
Yep. I will probably be canceled twice because people love Elon Musk. So, ironically, I'm probably going to be on that before I'm canceled by the religion.
So,
oh yeah, and I made fun of Reddit. Ooh, so that's triple canceled.
I'm not going to get canceled at all.
Talking about Reddit, people like talking about Musk, and then religion. I don't know what else I can say. Oh, I said something bad about Trump. That was quadruple. No, wait a minute. No, I redeemed myself at one podcast. I said Trump's not too bad. Well.
Oh, yeah, that's because I forgot you secretly support him.
No, it's not that I secretly support him. He was right.
No, I remember you told me you secretly support him. I was text messages.
No. Why would I tell you I secretly support him?
Because you and I are friends. We have been since junior year of high school. And ultimately, we've known each other since 5th grade. We've known each other for 14 years.
And that's supposed to mean...
So that's why you tell me that you support Trump.
That's weird because I'm pretty sure I know who I voted for. It started with B.
Bernie Sanders?
No. Actually, I wanted to vote for him, but I knew he was going to lose, so I made the smart decision. So you can thank me for having Trump not elected. I made the decision.
Well, I voted for Kanye.
Well, I'm just going to end the podcast on that. I hope you will get canceled. I don't care what.
Why?
I want to make sure that...
It's not like I voted for Harambe or something.
I have opinions on Kanye too. But maybe that's what it was.
But you used to love Kanye.
Yeah, and that's why I will say it has completely changed since then.
I remember you were in class and you said I was the abomination of Obama's nation, and you were singing that proudly. You were singing that proudly, or rapping that proudly. So what happened?
Went up, talked to Trump, and I was like, no, that's it.
But you voted for Trump.
It's interesting. When Trump was first elected, I wasn't able to vote because I wasn't in my voting district, even though they said I was. So I didn't vote.
That's all right. You didn't know that. You told me. I have the text messages.
Okay. Well, send it to me. I'll make it
screenshot them and put them make them public.
Okay, and I will make it the picture for this podcast if that ever happens because I know it's not.
Okay, so give me 1 hour and I can get the screenshots to you. I just have to give them all time.
Put it in the podcast. Because
all right.
Spitting out lies.
I'm not lying. I'm not lying. I'm not lying.
I'm going to end the podcast. I don't have an outro. The only reason I had the outro last time.
Thank you guys for joining Jabari's.